All right, here we are. How we got to this day already when we thought about this however long ago, I don't know how we did it. And the fact that Sarah and I have successfully survived the month of May.
Yeah, barely.
Which is also May.
Barely.
So no, I'm so excited. I'm so excited it was this book because I've been on record for saying The Nightingale is one of my favorite books of all time. Multiple times I have stated that. And so I was really nervous rereading the book. And this was a reread for you too, right?
Yep. Reread for me too.
Did you enjoy it just as much? Or did you loved it before too, right?
It's one of my favorite books of all time. Yep.
Yeah. So that like feeling of, do I want to reread it? Because I don't want to adjust that thought because I had it on this pedestal for so long. So
definitely this is a spotlight book for me, but I also kind of wanted to, because I never, like when I first read it, I wasn't tabbing my books and I'm tabbing now. So I'm like, I kind of want to pinpoint all those things. And I use so many tabs.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you probably went through a whole container of them.
Just about.
Really? What does it look like? Do you have it with you or not?
I do. It's a little hard to see because of the
because of the gold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your tabs are like little gold medals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you can, if you take the cover. There you go. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Man.
That means I loved it again. So
I know, right? And I did too. And I was actually talking with a couple of people, one of them being my sister, because I told her she should come tonight, but I don't know, she's busy. And she's like, oh, it was so long ago. I barely remember what happened. But she's like, all I remember is how it made me feel. And that she just fell in love with the characters and it made her feel so many things. And I was like, that resonated so much with me that I tend to be that person that I don't remember what this book is about, but I just know that I loved it. So
yeah, like the reading experience is what you're
right. That residual feeling that's left over was just so phenomenal. So it was great going back into it because there were certain parts, and I think I talked to you about this a little bit. There were certain parts that I'm like, oh yeah, I totally remember that. And then there's parts where I'm like, absolutely missed that one, forgot about that. And they were fairly big parts.
Same. I was like, oh wait, I forgot that's how that went down. Or, I forgot that this is what happened to this character. So I totally experienced that as well. Yeah.
The other thing that made me super excited, and I think a few of these people are in the comments, is how many people I've heard say, this has been on my list forever, or you recommended this to us for so long ago, and I've always wanted to read it and always wanted to read it. So we will fully take credit for pushing some of you guys into picking up that book. And I hope you loved it. So if you wouldn't mind throwing in the comments below, because I'd just like to see it, what rating you would give the book. 100 stars, 10 stars, whatever you want to do. Just get a general idea. I know I put this in the Facebook group and it was fun to see the amount of love around this book as well. So
yeah.
Plus it's a way for us to say hi to all of our friends that are here, which I'm super excited that you guys joined us too.
Thank you.
So I have a few questions that we can talk about, Sarah, tonight, and then, feel free to answer them in the comment box as well. I just want to highlight one from Amber that said, Maycember was so long.
Seriously.
So people call it Maycember because it's like December, but right before summer.
Yeah.
So I thought I used that term at work once and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, you must not have children.
Exactly. You don't have to deal with end of school year, do you?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'm looking at the discussion questions on Kristin Hannah's website. Some are a little deep, so I might just kind of pop around a little bit. But when we start the book, we are introduced to our narrator right away. I want to say it was like, what, the 1995 or close.
Yeah.
And we're introduced to this narrator, but we don't know who they are. Yeah. Did you have a guess as you were reading through who you think the narrator was as you start to learn about what these two women went through?
The first time I read it, I thought it was Isabelle.
Yeah. I kept going back and
We
forth.
got to know Isabelle. Like, I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
think that's who the narrator was in the beginning. Yeah, I thought it was her.
Yeah. Were you happy when you figured out who it was?
I figured out who it was when Kristin Hannah told me who it was. And I was like, oh, interesting.
Right.
I think, wait.
Yeah.
Let me check my tabs because I know I tabbed it.
Oh, yeah, you do. You probably did tab it.
Tabs because now I'm wondering if we figured it out before. I don't think so, though.
No, you don't.
No. So she tells you who it is before what happened in the past happens. Okay.
Oh, no, she doesn't tell you. You don't learn who the narrator is until the very end.
Right.
Yeah. Looks like first of all, a lot of 5 stars, and I love it. And then a few people also thought it was Isabelle. There is a quote in here. There's a piece of the book in here where Isabelle almost nonchalantly is like, oh no, I can go work for the resistance. It's super easy. Nobody thinks women are going to go do and take these risks.
Right.
Do you feel like that was accurate, for the time frame, and do you think it would still be accurate now?
Yeah. Because every single World War II historical book I have read that features women, it is always the same narrative. It's always
underestimated.
They're underestimated. And their role is to be a nurse or to stay at home and, do all that stuff. Like, they don't think that women are spies. That's why they can get in. That's why they can sneak in and do things like that. So,
right. But I also love how in this book, regardless of what path they took, because these sisters, first of all, they remind me of me and my sister so much. These sisters are so opposite, yet still played such vital roles, even though, Isabelle took the path of resistance and going out and really taking risks. But man, Vianne also took some massive risks, right?
Yeah.
And so silently and quietly. It's crazy. Are you still trying to find it?
Yeah. And I'm realizing, no, because we find out who the narrator is. And then from there on, you find out what happens to Isabelle in the past. It's told after that. So I was like, wait, did I miss it or something? But no, from there on, it tells you what happened to Isabelle and why she's not the narrator. But, yeah.
So then there's a couple things. Okay. The German soldiers that stay with Vianne. So we have Captain Beck.
We do.
Thoughts on him?
Conflicting. I could see that he was trying to be kind. And I could see the trust happening, like starting to happen between them. But in the end, he was a German soldier and he had to fulfill his duty.
Mm-hmm. So I kept thinking, and more so the second time around, of at one point, I wish Kristin would come out with a little short story of like Beck's story.
Yeah.
Because I hate to like him.
I know.
And I really want to hate him.
I know.
But at the time, like, I kept putting myself in his, like, he thinks he's doing the right thing. But yet, he's somewhat questioning it. And, like, the way things were designed is to make, he was expected to do orders that were just a tad outside of his comfort zone. And then just a little bit more outside that comfort zone. And it's like, you can see, of course, now in retrospect, knowing what happened, and obviously this book is fiction still, but I can see how really good people can be part of a system that does really bad things.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and I feel a couple of comments coming in. Noreen says that she felt guilty, or that she thinks he felt guilty about what he had to do, which I totally agree with. And in his own mind, he was making up for it by bringing them food or
and giving them warnings about things. And
getting the false papers for Ari. It was, but then he made her write down that list. Like,
yeah, I know.
That's where I'm like, you.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm trying to put myself in Van's shoes of like, would I be able to write a list? I don't know. Would you be able to do that? I mean, she had fear.
It was, it came down to it's them or her children. And it's like,
Right. Yeah.
Everybody. So
Yeah.
maybe I
But then he again tried to help by telling her, like, make sure she's not in, the neighbor, make sure she's not in her house.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which that was a part I kind of forgot about.
I forgot about that too.
Yeah.
I forgot everything that he, like, I remember him and I remember feeling conflicted about him the first time. Yes. But I forgot all the little details on why. And I was like, oh, yeah, because he was like,
yeah.
He's in a tough spot. So
right. And then darn Isabelle.
I know.
Yeah. I am watching your guys' comments. I know I usually like to bring them up during reading sprints, but I'm kind of going through them a little bit. Really interesting one that Kay said is that Van seemed naive at first. Would you agree?
I think so at first, but it didn't take her long to catch on. Or it didn't take her long to like figure out
what role she plays.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then I was thinking back to how their childhood was, that she was kind of always in that, like, preserve what I have. Like, how do I protect myself? How do I protect this one good thing, this thing with this wonderful husband I have? How do I protect that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Lisa said the guilt that Van had to carry with killing him and knowing he had a family, but yet it was automatic. She had to save her sister. Yeah, it was. Yeah, she had to do it.
I kind of giggled when one of them was questioning Van on what she would do, and she said, "I killed him with a shovel, and I liked him."
Oh, I did too. I thought that was a great part too.
Yeah,
that was great. That was great. All right, back to Isabelle a little bit. So, what do you think? It just, the way Kristin Hannah wrote her, it was like she was destined to have this grand adventure. But I don't think you see the fire in her until she was trying to flee Paris. And the German planes came and basically opened fire on all of these civilians. And it's like, it's almost like that flipped the switch, and like Van couldn't fathom not staying and protecting her children and just towing the line. And Isabelle could not fathom not doing some sort of action.
Yeah.
Was there anything about Isabelle or anything that she went through that surprised you?
I forgot how young she is. She was a teenager. I completely forgot about that. I was like, oh.
Which probably helped her, because, those teenagers think that they can just do anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sure do. I gotta live forever. I remember how brave she was, because not everybody would do that. I also remember thinking she just thinks that she can do anything and everything, but it also some of it got people killed. Yeah. And it wasn't always like, she was kind of hailed a hero, which I agree. She did save some lives, but she also, took some very dangerous risks, and that's really hard. That was a really hard situation to take dangerous risks in. So
absolutely. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out, because she was based on a real character, right?
Was she?
I'll never forget the day the story reached out to me, took hold. I was researching another novel set in World War II Leningrad, aka The Winter Garden, also fantastic.
Fantastic book.
And I came across a story of young Andre de Jong, who, along with her father, started one of the first escape routes for downed airmen out of Nazi-occupied France. A teenager saving airmen, risking her life, walking over the Pyrenees Mountains. How could I not know such a story? So yeah, it's based on a real girl, a real teenager, yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm like, I would love it. Thinking back on like my childhood or even how I am now, I think I would be one to stand up, but it's like you never know until you're in a situation, which I hope I'm never in a situation like that. So
No, thank you.
yeah. And then just the details of what it took for her and the airmen to get over these mountains. And I love when she's like, here's these burly guys. And when I say that, if I can do it as this little girl, like you must be able to do it too. And then to find out that some of them weren't that great, but
she knows how to check those egos.
I know, right? I love it. Okay, next question. We talked about that. We're so good. We already talked about stuff that's already in here. Okay. We're going to get, we've done a few spoilers already, but we're going to get to a couple other spoilers. The scene where Ari is taken away. So we're post-war. They've been healing. Anton is home. And because Vianne took such great notes, and I loved her idea of like how she figured out how to record all of the Jewish kids that she saved, which was a pretty big piece of the second half of the book. And I totally forgot that she did that.
I did too. Yeah.
And she put his name on it. And because she turned that all in to help, she kind of exposed that.
Yeah.
Do you think what happened was right? What do you believe is right in that situation? To pull him from the only family he knows? Or to go and stay with his family because those Jewish traditions needed to keep going? But yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the right thing because the people that came and got him made a very good point about there's not that many left.
I know that part hit me too. I'm like,
really hit me, like millions, and we need to do everything we can to keep our people going, is what he said. And I just went, oh God, he's right.
One part of me was like, that doesn't mean that Vianne is gonna not help him remember. Part of me was like, I feel like he should have stayed with them. Because just that trauma
wasn't really over yet.
Yeah, you're right.
They could have figured something out and like he could have been killed if he had stayed there.
Gosh, it just broke my heart. And I think for Vianne, I just didn't want one more thing to hurt her.
I know.
I know.
I know.
And then we get to the piece of Julian. And Anton says to Vianne, because Vianne never really spoke about or admitted to who Julian's father really was.
Yeah.
And he said to her, we choose to see miracles, which I felt like was, I don't know, how did you interpret when he told her we choose to see miracles? Like,
I don't know. I feel I'm wondering if he's alluding to, I understand that something happened while I was gone, or if he's alluding to they'd had issues before because she had miscarriages. So
right. Or the miracle is that we're back together and here's this miracle.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like it felt like it could take so many different interpretations.
Yeah.
But part of me, it's like for Vianne, I'm like, I hope this is basically him like, we have to purposefully look for those miracles and those bright spots. Otherwise, we run the risk of viewing something as maybe bad when we could just change, it's a mindset of, yes, this bad thing happened and here's this cool thing.
Yeah.
This amazing thing that came from it.
Yeah. I don't know.
I know. You know, another part I forgot in the book was how much Isabelle went through when she was captured.
Oh God, yeah, I did too. I remember she got captured, but I forgot like the
Mhm.
detail.
I do remember, and then once I came to it, I'm like, oh, that's right, because I remember watching, because it would say like the dates or whatever, and I'm like, okay, you just gotta hold on a little bit longer. You just gotta hold on a little bit longer.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. One more question, and this is for everybody on here as well. Throw a comment or a hands up emoji or whatever you want in the comment if you cried or teared up at any part of this book. Because I totally did. Even the second time around.
I teared up.
What made you tear up?
David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ari.
Mhm. Ari, David Ari. Yeah, that just, it broke my heart.
So sad.
Yeah. And then trying to explain it to him, and he's so young.
I know. And he already had to like rewrite his history once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
It's true. Yeah.
Mine was when Isabelle and Van saw each other.
Mm.
Like, oh, I don't know. Just because it's like it took so much for them to finally I don't know, understand each other.
Yeah.
And like look at all of that time that was lost as well. And
Yeah.
Can I go last 2 minutes?
yes, how late are you gonna be?
I don't know.
What time do we think her curfew should be?
In 5 minutes.
I'll throw her back. I could serve it.
Okay. Who?
Maya, she lost it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, bye. She disagrees with 5 minutes.
I tried.
I know, it's all right. A bunch of people cried throughout. Oh, someone commented they cried when Sarah's daughter
Oh God.
or
Yeah.
Rachel's daughter passed.
Daughter
Yeah.
Sarah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was.
I also
I forgot
teared up
about that part too.
with their dad's letter.
Yes. And part of me was like, you pick now to show up? Like, come on.
Yep. Great job.
But yeah. Way to judge a character in a book, Lindsay.
I
Like,
know.
come on.
I think it was like even the last line of it was like, I love you with all my damaged heart or something. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other part I think Vianne was nervous about and trying to keep her home as normal as possible is her fear of her husband coming back with the same demons that her dad did.
Yeah.
Like my dad went off to war and I never saw that dad again really after her mom died. But then like she did so much to like she sent him care packages. She was constantly doing stuff to keep that. Like she didn't want to leave the house. She's like, I can't just walk away from it. Then I'll never get it back, you know?
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy. Oh yeah. How did you say this guy's name? I called him Gary in my head. No, that's not right. But I just make up names in my head if I don't know how to say them.
I listened to it and they said Gaetan.
Gaetan. Okay.
Gaetan.
Thoughts about him? Other than at first when I'm like, God, you're just not even drive me nuts.
Yeah. I don't know if I just didn't feel the chemistry between him and Isabelle.
Right?
It just felt a little forced.
Yeah.
I never really, because I didn't feel like Isabelle, like that's not where her focus was.
Mm-hmm.
So why did there need to be a romance between them?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it's a little bit unnecessary. I felt like they could have just been partners and just like become close or something, like without the I love you.
Without that extra, yeah.
So I don't know. He wasn't my favorite.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Huge spoiler alert at the end. Who loved it when Vianne was reunited with Ari? And I may have teared up a little bit there too, because he was like, he knew and then the picture that she gave him of his mom.
Yep, it was mom. Yep. And the names.
And I want to point this out in books to my kids and be like, this is why I take your picture all the time. This is why I want selfies all the time.
Yep.
The other, and actually Kat's bringing it up now and reminding me I want to talk about Sophie a little bit. I know. So what Vianne had to do in the hands of Von Richter, who all he needed, he just would have done anything and everything to make himself just feel better. Oh
yeah.
And Sophie knew. I was so sad that Sophie missed out on so much. Like her childhood, that's supposed to be like some of the most fun-loving time of your life was that way. And I think Kristin Hannah did such a good job with, you could tell how she was changing.
Yeah. The conversation between Sophie and Vianne, when Sophie was like, I know what's going on, and then Vianne says to her, this is my war, I about lost it. I was like, because everything she's doing is to protect her children, because she knows that that's the first thing he's going to go for if she refuses anything from him. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Like, why couldn't he be killed with a shovel?
Right? Can we just switch those?
And then like the little coward just, ugh.
Yeah, I know.
But
he was the worst.
It's really Kristin Hannah's fault because she has to make us feel all these feelings.
Exactly. So
somebody get her on the phone. I don't know. All right. Lots of love for this book I'm seeing. Did anybody, if you had to nitpick or wish that one thing was better, what would it be? Tough question. I've stumped you.
I don't know. That would make it better. Maybe at the end, when we're learning about what happened with Isabelle and like everything, we kind of find out in the present, maybe if we saw it happen in the past.
Oh.
Versus hearing about it later, you know? Just like, okay, Kat just said, I wish Isabelle would have had more time. Like,
me too. I wish they would have, I mean, they were together for a little bit when Isabelle came back.
Yeah.
As broken literally as she was, but I wish they would have had, I wish they would have had more time to lean on each other.
And I wonder if, because she had like cancer or something, right? Isn't that what killed her? Isabelle?
I thought it was like still the injuries from the concentration camp. Because she didn't last all that much longer.
She didn't last that long, yeah.
Typhus. Kat saves the day. That's what she says.
Okay. And she got that from the concentration. Okay, that's right.
Sophie died of cancer. Yes, I'm like, that's very good.
I was like, someone died of cancer. It was
Which I'm like, why did you have to do that? I wanted Sophie to have a retribution little story.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe just seeing a little bit more of Isabelle in the direct aftermath. Yeah, I think. So I agree with Kat on that one.
But I mean, this is like really stretching because honestly, I'm pretty sure this is as perfect of a book as I could possibly think of. So.
Don't tell Kristin, it's perfect.
I know. Yeah, nobody tell Kristin.
Yeah.
And the way it's written, however, whatever magical brush Kristin Hannah has with this way of writing words, like that just invokes such emotions. Like it makes me want to reread. I want to reread Great Alone now. I want to reread Winter Garden. Like apparently I just want to torture myself.
Especially the Great Alone. Oh my god.
Yes. Right.
Was a tough
Amber says Sophie deserved a better ending as well. Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I agree. Yeah.
And just I wish we would have learned a little bit more about her. I think we did a little bit, but just post. Give me a short story of everybody post.
Yeah.
Oh, Kathy thought the narrator was Sophie's kid, not her brother. Ah,
Interesting.
that would have been a good take too.
Yeah.
And I think I thought it was Isabelle because of how spontaneous, like, because as we were learning about Isabelle and how spontaneous she was, because the narrator just very spontaneously was like, okay, I'm going to get a plane ticket. I'm going to go, like, right now. It's tomorrow. And I'm just going to fly from Oregon to Paris.
That's
So
true.
I'm like, no way Vianne would do that. She wouldn't do that.
That's true. Yeah.
And then for her son to be like, you can't do that.
What are you doing?
Like, what? Oh my gosh.
And he shows up at the airport. He's like, absolutely not. I'm coming with you.
Absolutely not. But then how cool that he was there, because she could kind of like, because I'm sure she didn't talk a lot about that. That just wasn't something that anybody from that generation did. I mean, my grandfather was overseas and in Normandy, and we barely knew anything about what he went through.
Both mine
anything.
And they never talked about it.
You just don't talk about it. Which is interesting. Even still today, my brother really doesn't talk about much of what he experienced. And I'm sure there was some shit. So
I'm sure.
Yeah. PJ would love a story about Vianne, about when they come to America. I would too. I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I would read that.
All right. That, I think, gets us to the end of our questions. Who, if you had, like, what kind of reader do you think what kind of reader would you recommend this book to? Everybody? Yeah. I knew you were going to say that.
I gave it to my neighbor recently.
You did?
She was like, she saw my library, and I was like, are you a reader? She's like, I'm trying to get back into it. I was like,
let me help.
And I said, do you like do you like historical fiction? She's like, yeah. And I said, have you read the Nightingale? She's like, no. And I was like, here. And then she gave it back to me with tears, and she was like, thanks. Like, I was crying through the whole thing. I'm like, you're welcome. But she loved it. And I just think there's something for everybody. Like, there's war scenes, there's lovely
little romance, there's
little romance, yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I would steer away from people who maybe are looking for reading as being a positive, make me smile.
Yeah.
You know, happy escape. This is definitely not an escape.
No.
I think it's an escape. But reading in general is an escape for me. I don't care what it makes me feel like. Right. I think it's a great entry to historical fiction. Yeah. Definitely. Like a fantastic entry into historical fiction, because it was awesome. I think even from like a young adult's perspective, like you want to see some realities of some history. Here we go. Like, let's not just rely on Hamilton to teach us history. Like, right. Which Riley did say to me the other day. She's like, I got like 8 questions right on my test just because of Hamilton.
Funny.
And I don't think it's just a book. You know, sometimes I feel like Kristin Hannah books can have this. I think it would be good for men or women. Like, it's
absolutely.
It's got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
It was so good. And just every time that Vianne would go into town, and you could just see a little bit more of freedom being taken away, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and how it was so easy to be like, oh yeah, Paris is being occupied, but like we're still okay, or there's still this free zone, but we're still okay, and it just slowly gets chipped away. Oh, it's a good lesson. Should be taught in schools.
Yeah.
All right. I would love it if I could officially announce to anybody that we're going to do another book. Wait, I can announce we will do another book.
We'll do another one. Yeah.
We don't know what one. So Sarah and I are going to do, we're going to noodle a little bit on that, do some brainstorming as far as what to pick next. I know that in the Facebook group, if you haven't joined, there was somebody posted something. Was it Lindsay? I don't know. Not me, other Lindsay. Somebody posted something about some other ideas. There has been some ideas in there, which has been really, really great. I did see somebody commented about doing Winter Garden. Maybe we'll put that on the back burner. We'll switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we did that, the Game Scots play, and now we did, which was more fantasy than historical fiction. So we might switch up the genre a little bit, or switch up the thing. I have ideas. I'm not even going to say them because I don't want to give anybody hopes.
Amber speaking.
Amber has plenty of ideas. Plenty of ideas. Of course. Leave it to Amber.
Yeah.
But
we'll look at them and see if anything kind of like jumps out at us. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're thinking about doing that in July, right?
At the earliest. Yeah, at the earliest.
Yeah. I think it could be August. And thanks for, of course, being super understanding with us and the fact that we have an insane schedule. So, but Sarah, I do want to thank you for making this work, because I know that your May was obnoxious. I think if it was any other book, I don't think it would have. I think it worked because it was the Nightingale and you already knew how much you would love it. So
yeah. It was nice
thanks for putting in that time. Really good question from Kat, though. She wants to know which Kristin Hannah should pick up next. What would be your suggestion?
I would say The Women.
I would say Winter Garden. There's some parallels. Yeah.
A little bit.
So. And the ending of that book, you might be mad at Kristin Hannah for good things. And then a couple of people have asked you when you start your new job. So you must have let people know.
I did. I posted that today.
Nice.
So if you guys haven't seen it, I was just hired as a junior high librarian for a junior high school local to me. So I have been told teachers go back August 1st. I don't know if that includes me or not. I'm not technically a teacher, so I'm still just kind of, the furthest we've gone in this whole situation is they've offered me the job and I have accepted, and I was able to go look at the library. So
I think those are the most important parts, right?
Yeah. So I still have to go through all the nitty gritty getting into the school district and all that. I have to get certified and everything too. So, but that should
between Amber and Jen, I think you have some really great middle school support system friends. So
very true.
And I'm so flippin' excited for you. They are going to be so lucky to have you.
Thank you.
I'm a little jealous. I mean,
they took a chance on me because they're only getting 2 years out of me. But.
Right. What's the friend's quote? Like I'm like 60% happy, 40% jealous, or something like that.
Not at all jealous.
No.
Yeah. So yeah,
awesome.
I'm really excited. Yep. But thank you guys for all your congratulations. I woke up to so many this morning, so I appreciate it.
You felt the love.
I did.
A crazy day. Lisa's thinking next time something lighter and summery. That's kind of what I was thinking too. All right. Well, I think that's about it. So I just want to thank everybody for joining in. It makes it so much more fun when I have like this, when I know that there's like this group of us that I can go and we can chat about some things, or I can just be like, hey, how everybody else feeling about this? I don't know. There's something extra to that group dynamic of knowing there's a bunch of us reading through the book. And I loved seeing where some people were like, yeah, I finished it, couldn't put down, couldn't stop. I'm like, yes. So definitely very, very happy that you guys all loved it as much as we did. So we will be in contact. So stay tuned either to the channels, because we'll announce it there, and or the Facebook group as well. So I hope you join us for the next one and suggest away if you have ideas for books. But appreciate you all, especially you, Sarah. Appreciate you so much. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.